everyone, this is Mary Ellen. For this module, I had the task of doing a summary for the article or the executive summary, Education Pays 2013, The Benefits of Higher Education. This report is divided into two parts, the benefits of higher education and the participation and success in higher education. So the first part is the benefits of higher education. When we look at the statistics from the Education Pays 2013 report shows us that those with higher levels of education earn more money. You can see the stair steps of median wages, $25,000 roughly for those with less than a high school diploma, roughly $35,000 with those with a high school diploma, and almost $45,000 a year with an associate degree, $56,000 bachelor's degree, and $70,000 with a master's degree, up to $102,000 with a doctoral degree. Also, when looking at these statistics for median wages, 84% of males with high school diplomas earned less than males with higher levels of education. The data also showed us that as workers age, earnings rise at a quicker rate for those with a higher education. Earnings tend to peak at ages 45 to 49, or 50 to 54 years of age for workers at all levels of education. When looking at the financial return on higher education, the trend also shows that the gaps between education levels has continued to increase over time. What we also see with the data is that in 2011, the median earnings for a female with a bachelor's degree or higher education is still less than that median wage for males with a similar education. Also, individuals with higher levels of education are more likely to be employed. So the 2012 data shows us that individuals with higher levels of education are more likely to be employed from the ages of 25 to 64. This chart shows that unemployment rates, and consistently those with at least a bachelor's degree, has been about half the rate of unemployment for high school graduates. When looking at ethnicity, unemployment rates were more narrow for Asians than blacks, Hispanics, and whites. Blacks still had a greater gap between unemployment with a bachelor's degree and a high school graduate, 6.3% with a bachelor's degree or higher, compared to 20.4% in unemployment rate for those with less than a high school diploma. Social mobility also comes into the benefits of higher education. College education increases the chance that adults will move up the socioeconomic ladder. So what the statistics in this report showed us is that the top quintile children, so 51% bachelor's degree, remained in the top quintile compared to 25% without a four-year degree. For middle income children, 31% who earned a four-year degree moved up to the top income quintile between 2000 and 2008, compared to only 12% of those without a four-year degree. When looking at the bottom quintile, that lower socioeconomic level, 47% without a bachelor's degree remained in the bottom quintile compared to 10% with a bachelor's degree. 10% with a bachelor's degree was able to move up to the top quintile. Job satisfaction was also looked at. When looked at lifelong learning in the age group of 30 to 45, 56% of bachelor's degree or higher graduates strongly agreed that their jobs required them to continue learning new things to go with their job. 44% with some college or associate degrees strongly agreed that their job required them to continue learning. In contrast, that only 30% with a high school diploma strongly agreed to that same statement. 51% of those people with bachelor's degrees or higher indicated they were very satisfied with their jobs, and 47% with high school diplomas were satisfied with their jobs. So it is showing us that, the more education that one has, the statistics are showing that there is a higher job satisfaction. Now, there are many factors that go into job satisfaction. Demographics, what the actual job is, what's the job characteristics, as well as the earning potential for those jobs. Also, in looking at employer benefits, college-educated adults were more likely to receive health benefits and pensions from their employers. Pension plans were provided to 52% of high school graduates, 65% of bachelor's degrees, and 73% of advanced degrees. Health benefits were provided to 55% of employers were offered that to high school diplomas, 69% bachelor's degrees, and 73% with advanced degrees. But employer-provided pension plans have dramatically declined over the past couple of decades. Also, when looking at the pension plans, that is oftentimes an option for employees, and the statistics show that those with a higher education level were more likely to participate in those employer-sponsored pension plans. It's also important to look at levels of education and the amount of public assistance people need. What this report showed us is that when we look at Medicaid, 43% of people that had less than a high school diploma received Medicaid. 17% with an associate degree, 9% of those with a bachelor's degree or higher qualified or used Medicaid. When looking at the SNAP program, or the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, 24% of the population with less than a high school diploma utilized that program. 7% of those with an associate degree and 2% with a bachelor's degree or higher. And this is just a graph showing that same information. What the data also looked at was the health factors of individuals at the different levels of higher education. They looked at exercise. Those looked at ages 25 to 34 and looked at how often, did they vigorously exercise at least once weekly. Four-year college graduates were more likely to exercise vigorously at least once a week than those with high school graduates. Now, what it did show is that high school graduates were more likely to be involved in light to moderate exercise, actually a little bit higher percentage rate than the four-year college graduate. So looking at this report, the studies did show that the skills, attitudes, and thought patterns they believed related to and what was learned and fostered through education did lead to a more responsible health-related behavior. What it also showed was that improvements in health were more associated with each additional year of schooling, but not so much a relationship between completing the degree of having a higher impact on health rather than just completing an extra additional year of education. Obesity was also looked at with the health effects of the benefits of higher education. From 1988 to 1994, and then from 2007 to 2010, obesity rates increased for both men and women at all education levels. The largest increase was seen for those who had some college or an associate degree. But there are a lot of factors that go into this statistic as well. What is the level of income? Because level of income is going to affect food choices and what food that they can purchase. It may affect exercise patterns, and as well as looking at, what is a dietary and nutritional knowledge of the population. The second part of this was the participation and success in higher education. So the first part of the report showed the statistics that show the benefits of higher education that it has on income potential, social mobility, employer benefits, the need for public assistance, as well as overall health. So the second part is going to discuss the distribution of these benefits and who enrolls and succeeds in higher education. So although college enrollment rates continue to increase for each income level, there is still a discrepancy between the groups. In 2012, 82% of high school graduates from high-income families enrolled in college, compared to 52% of high school graduates from low-income families. The enrollment gap between ethnicity groups has narrowed between 2001 and 2011, so showing 70% of whites, 66% of blacks, and 62% of Hispanics enrolling in college within 1 year of high school graduation. In 2011 and 2012, 38% of undergrads from families with low incomes enrolled in two-year colleges. 22% of undergrads with families of incomes over $100,000 also enrolled in two-year college. So this trend also is showing a trend of increasing enrollment of two-year colleges regardless of that income level. Also in 2011, the statistics showed that 64% of males and 73% of females who completed high school enrolled in college. So there's a higher enrollment of females versus males. Looking at graduation rates, 2011-2012, of the 4.9 million degrees and certificates awarded, 58% were bachelor's or advanced degrees, 42% certificate or associate degrees. Also, students who began college in 2006 at age 24 or younger and were enrolled full-time, 78% earned a degree or certificate within 6 years. So what does all this mean? Higher education statistically has shown that, according to this report, higher education improves people's lives with higher income, increased social mobility. It contributes to the economy and makes society more equitable. So the questions I have for you are, students invest a lot of time and money to begin a college education. So how do we, as leaders in higher education, work to close the gap of non-completers and increase retention and completion rates so that more students leave the college earning certificates and degrees? Secondly, in 2011-2012, 42% of degrees and certificates were associate degrees and certificates. What do you think is driving this trend? And my third question is, more students from high-income families are enrolling in two-year colleges. Why do you think this is? Thank you, and I look forward to your discussion.